The Purloined Letter by Edgar Allan Poe. I am María Fernanda Martínez Cortés. Introduction. In this ova you can find a short history written by Edgar Allan Poe. It called The Purloined Letter. In the end, you will be able to practice your reading comprehension. Objectives. Assess student listening and reading comprehension. Specific objectives. Learn vocabulary, practice listening, complete exercise. Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe was an American reader, poet, critic, and editor best known for evocative short stories and poems that captured the imagination and interests of readers around the world. His imaginative storytelling and tales of mystery and horror gave birth to the modern detective history. Many of Pope's works, including The Telltale Heart and The Fall of the House of Usher, become literary classics. Some aspects of Pope's life, like his literature, is shrouded in mystery, and the lines between fact and fiction have been blurred substantially since his death. Poe died in Baltimore Hospital in 1849, his last words being, "Lord, help my poor soul." Part 1. Check the vocabulary. Purloined, robar o sustraer. Strange, raro o extraño. Robbery, robo. Unlock, rare. Part 1. One evening in Paris, during the autumn of 1845, I went to visit a friend, Auguste Dupin. We were smoking our piece and talking when the door of his apartment opened. Mr. Hermont, the head of the Paris police officer, came into the room. "I come to ask your advice," Hermont said to my friend Dupin. "I am trying to solve a very important case. It is also a very simple case, so I really need your help. But I thought you would like to hear about it, because it is so strange. My men and I have worked on this case for 3 months. Hermon said, "It is a very simple case of robbery, but we still cannot solve it." Dupin took the pipe out of his mouth. "Perhaps the mystery is too simple," he said. Hermon began to laugh. "Too simple?" he said. "Whoever heard of such a thing?" I looked at Hermon. "Why don't you tell us the problem?" I said. Hermon stopped laughing and sat down. "All right," he said, "but you must never tell anyone I told you this." Part 2. Check the vocabulary. Steal, robar. A large amount, una gran cantidad. Embarrass, avergonzar. Look, cerradura. Look for, buscar. Move forward, moverse hacia adelante. Furniture, muebles. Drawer, cajón, rug, alfombra o tapete, board, tabla, hide, esconder, advice, aconsejar, and puff, dar pitadas. The wife of a very important person needs help. I cannot tell you her name because her husband is a powerful man in the French government. Let us just call her Madame X. 3 months ago, someone stole a letter from Madame X. She is offering a large amount of money to anyone who can return the letter to her. We know that her husband's political enemy, Mr. Derson, stole the letter. We also know it is somewhere in his apartment. Derson plans to use the letter to embarrass Madame X's husband and destroy his political power. As you know, I have keys which can open any lock in Paris. For the last 3 months, my men and I have spent every evening looking for the letter in his apartment, but we cannot find it. Open spot smoking. Tell me how you looked for it, he said. Herman moved forward in his chair. We took our time, he said. First, we examined the furniture in every room. We opened all the drawers. We looked under the rugs. We searched behind all the paintings on the walls. We opened every book. We opened every book. We removed these words on the floor. We even took the tops of the tables to see if he had hidden the letter in the table legs. But we cannot find it. What do you advise me to do? Dopin puffed on his pipe. What does the letter look like? He asked. It is an white envelope with a red stamp, Herman said. The address is written in large black letters. Dopin puffed on his pipe again. I advise you to go back and search the apartment again, he said. About 1 month later, Herman came back to see us. I followed your advice, he said, but I still have not found the letter. Part 3. Vocabulary. Smile, sonreír. Shoot, gritar. Get to the point, ir al grano. Once, una vez. Advice, consejo. Seek, suspirar. Jump, saltar. Unlock, abrir con la llave. Part 3. Dopin smile. I need you would not find it, he said. Herman became very red in the face. Then why did you make me search the apartment again? He shoot. My dear German, Dopin said. Let me tell you a little history. Do you remember the famous doctor, Louis Abernathy? No, Herman shouldn't. Get to the point, Dopin. Of course, of course, Dopin said. Once a rich old man met a Bernardi at a party. The old man was not feeling very well. He decided he would get a medical opinion from the doctor without paying for it. So he described his problems to a Bernardi. Now, doctor, the old man said, suppose you had a patient like that. What would you tell him to take? Oh, that is acute, quite simple, said Bernardi. I would tell him to take my advice. Herman looked at embarrassed. Look her, Dopin. I am perfectly willing to pay for advice. Dopin smiled at her. How much money did you say the reward was? He asked. Herman said, I do not want to tell you the exact amount, but I will give 50,000 francs to the person who helps me find that letter. In this case, Dopin said, take out your checkbook and write me a check for 50,000 francs. When you have signed the check, I will beat you the letter. Herman looked at Dopin with his mouth open. His eyes seemed to jam out his head. Then he took out his checkbook and pen and wrote a check for 50,000 francs. He gave it to the Dopin. My friend examined the check carefully and put in this pocket. Then he unlocked a drawer in his desk, took out the letter and gave it to the Herman. Vocabulary verse 4. Realize, darse cuenta, glasses, gafas, wear, usar, at all times, todo el tiempo, believe, creer, shelf, estante, fireplace, chimenea. The policeman's hands shook as they opened the letter. He read quickly. Then he put in this pocket and ran out of the room without saying a word. Dopin, I said as I turned to my friend. Who did you solve the mystery? It was simple, my friend, he said. Herman and his policemen could not find the letter because they did not try to understand the mind of the man who stole it. Instead, they looked for the letter where they would have hidden it. Mr. Darcy is not a policeman. He is, however, very intelligent. He knew the police would search his apartment. He also knew how police think. So he didn't hide the letter where he knew they would look for it. Do you remember how Herman laughed when I said the mystery was difficult for him to solve because it was so simple? Topping filled his pipe with tobacco and lit it. Well, the more I talk about it, the more I realized the police could not find the letter because Darcy had not hidden it at all. So I went to visit Darcy in his apartment. I took a pair of dark green eyeglasses with me. I explained to him that I was having trouble with my eyes and needed to wear the dark glasses at all times. We believe me, the glasses permit we the talk around the apartment while I seemed only of the be talking to him. I paid special attention to a large desk where there were a lot of papers and books. However, I saw nothing suspicious there. After a few minutes, however, I noticed a small shelf over fireplace. A few postcards and a letter were lying on the shelf. The letter looked very old and dirty. So I went to visit Darcy in his apartment. I took a pair of dark green eyeglasses with me. I explained to him that I was having trouble with my eyes and needed to wear the dark glasses at all times. I believe he believed me. The glasses permitted me to talk around the apartment while I seemed only to be talking to him. I paid special attention to a large desk where there were a lot of papers and books. However, I saw nothing suspicious there. After a few minutes, however, I noticed a small shelf over the fireplace. A few postcards and a letter were lying on the shelf. The letter looked very old and dirty. As soon as I saw this letter, I decided it must be the one I was looking for. It must be. Every tooth it was completely different from the one Herman had described. Part 5. Vocabulary. Drop, dejar caer o tirar. Clock, guante, step, dar un paso, oír, run over, atropellar, carriage, carruaje, crowd, multitud. His letter had a large green stamp on it. The address was written in the small letter in blue ink. I memorized every detail of the letter while I talked to Darcy. Then, when he was not looking, I dropped one of my gloves on the floor under my chair. The next morning, I stopped at his apartment to look for my glove. While we were talking, we heard people shooting in the street. Darcy went to the window and looked out. Quickly, I stepped to the shelf and put the letter in my pocket. Then I replaced it with a letter that looked exactly like it, which I had taken with me. I had made in the night before. The trouble in the street was caused by a man who had almost been run over by a horse and carriage. He was not hurt, and soon the crowd of people went away. When it was over, Darcy came away from the window. I said goodbye and left. The man who almost had an accident was one of my servants. I had paid him to create the incident. Dopin stopped talking to light his pipe. I did not understand. But Dopin, I said, why did you go to the trouble of replacing the letter? Why not just take it and leave? Dopin smiled. Darcy is a dangerous man, he said, and he has many loyal servants. If I had taken the letter, I might never have left his apartment alive. Thank you so much. See you later.